the Know-It-All, where we recap a week of the biggest news in games and more in one go. Usually more than games. This week it's all games. I'm Ashley Jenkins, and as usual, if you want more details on any particular story, just click the annotation or the link in the description, and we'll drown you in sexy, sexy information. Ready? Let's get started. More Star developers are jumping ship from Konami. This time, it's Koji Igarashi, godfather of Castlevania. He's left the company and launched a Kickstarter for a spiritual successor to the Castlevania series called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. And aside from sounding like a made-up game name in a movie, it's already actually killing it with $2 million in funding and another 28 days to go. Kojima, Igarashi... why are so many of Konami's top talent leaving? I don't know, maybe because of this. Konami's quitting the traditional games business. Their new company president, Hideki Hayakawa, who took the reins at the start of April, has announced, "Our main platform will be mobile," and just in case that wasn't enough to get the grieving process going, he also said, "Our games must move from selling things like items to selling things like features." So get ready for a lot of Metal Crush Solid or whatever. But just because they're quitting and losing all their developers, that doesn't mean they want you talking about any of that. YouTuber Super Bunny Hop posted a video about Hideo Kojima's messy split with the company. He included details from an anonymous source inside the company, and ignoring step 1 in the book of not legitimizing stuff you don't want to draw attention to, Konami issued a DMCA takedown notice to YouTube. The site pulled the video temporarily before reinstating it because the copyright claim was missing some critical information, like, oh, I don't know, cause, probably. At this rate, Konami can just start their own soap opera. They've got that cheesy drama element nailed. They're not the only company in the middle of a battle, though. Footage has leaked from what is allegedly a Gears of War HD remaster that hasn't actually been announced yet. Probably they were waiting for E3, but hey, the cat's out of the bag now. The footage was uploaded via Xbox DVR and quickly caught by sites that look for that kind of content, and even though the footage was quickly pulled, it's been mirrored plenty around the internet, so all of the Gears of War diehards have been able to see it. In addition to the higher definition and graphical fidelity you'd expect from an HD remaster, it also appears to be running at 60 frames per second, so that's great, but it is a pretty short clip, so hard to tell more until E3 anyway. It's a similar story for Bethesda with what we really hope is actually Fallout 4 this time and not another false alarm. We can't only take so many of those, please, my heart. 3D artist Luis Nieves updated his LinkedIn profile with his most recent work as a contract 3D artist on a Fallout 4 cinematic trailer from Murata Studios, which is helmed by none other than Guillermo del Toro, who's previously been attached to other game projects like the now defunct Silent Hills. RIP. That, in addition to the fact that Bethesda is holding their own press conference this year, paint a pretty post-apocalyptic picture. Unless it's Dishonored 2 or Doom, or more Elder Scrolls, but it had better be Fallout. That's what you need a cinematic trailer for. Late last week, leaks began trickling out about another game too, the next Assassin's Creed, which was formally unveiled earlier this week as Assassin's Creed Syndicate. The game will move to London circa 1868 and give you a sweet top hat to lead the oppressed lower classes to freedom against the industrial machines that were taking over the city at the time. Oh, and also there's a girl this time. In addition to the main protagonist, Jacob Fry, you'll also spend about 25% of the campaign playing as his sister Evie. You'll also get a revolver, hallucinogenic darts, a hookshot, and some sweet mutton chops to complete your look. The game's out in October, but again, we'll probably see a lot more next month at E3. Actually, that's about a month away. We're gonna be learning a lot about a lot of things at E3, I guess. Hardware-wise, NPD numbers are now out for April, and they've revealed something kind of interesting. The Xbox One actually outsold PS4 in April, and nobody knows why. There were no major exclusives released during the month, and the only other period Xbox One outsold PS4 was holiday when it took that big price cut. Who knows? Lots of marketing, I guess, maybe a lot of commercials. PS4 was on top cumulatively, though, with nearly double the lifetime sales. They want to make sure you don't forget that part. They're really proud of it. They have other things to worry about as well, like piracy in Brazil, where games and console costs are actually extortionately high. Remember when PS4 launched, it was $1,800 US to buy one in that country? Wow. Well, retailers in Sao Paulo have discovered a method of copying games onto full retail PS4s without any hardware modifications in a way that still allows the consoles to go online with your normal profile and play the games normally. They've been charging about $130 US to preload 10 games onto the consoles, although if you can afford an $1,800 console, game price seems like the least of your concerns. Maybe that's just me. Sony is sending cease and desist notices to the retailers for some other things like shady eBay practices. They'll likely figure out a way to patch it out in a future software update, but for now, They're still working on it. Finally, let's talk about The Witcher 3, shall we? The game comes out next week, but fans who've been heavily supportive of developer CD Projekt Red have been rumbling a little bit over an apparent downgrade in the graphics of the game from the first reveal in 2013 to more recent footage. Mainly hit appear to be things like particle effects, foliage and atmosphere, that kind of stuff, though the reason for the downgrade could be, well, there could be a lot of reasons actually. Hardware, in-engine versus gameplay trailers, the settings. The devs have been holding off showing ultra settings. Supposedly they're saving it as a surprise, although why you'd make your game look less than its best is an interesting sales strategy. Either way, doesn't seem to be counting too much against it. Reviews are out and they're all really highly scored. GameSpot gave it a perfect score, Game Informer gave it 98 out of 100, IGN gave it 93 out of 100, and it's got an overall 92 on Metacritic for whatever that's worth to you. I know a lot of people don't take Metacritic too seriously. That's the news for the week. On the patch, we discuss what it would take for Assassin's Creed Syndicate to recover from the disastrous launch of Unity, and well, we talk about playing Don't Starve a lot because that game is addicting, but also things like Towerfall and the launch of State of Decay on Xbox One, all kinds of stuff. We played Gone Home for Game Club and spent some time debating whether the game is actually a well-crafted mystery that creates expectations only to subvert them in the exploration of family and relationships, or whether it's a disappointing on-rails reading game that never really goes anywhere. Or both. It can be both. Or if esports is more your thing, Riot held their mid-season invitational for League of Legends over the weekend, Counter-Strike Rivalries returned, as always, Optic went up against Prophecy in Call of Duty, and Western teams dominated in Dota 2. If any of that means something to you, we break it all down in the leaderboard. If you want to get your news throughout the week, make sure you subscribe to The Know. Otherwise, have a great weekend.